welcome to a track by track. We are covering a different album because normally we kind of look at some more classic stuff or this, whatever. We're going for a bit more modern. In fact, this album was released in 2018, April 13th, 2018. If you didn't see by the title, I'll tell you now. It's JORD, or JORD, however you want to say it, but I believe it's JORD by the Danish black gaze metal band Mol. First things first, so we get this clear right now. I fucking love this album. Gave it 10 out of 10 when it was released. And I went back and checked because I was 99% sure, but I've checked. It got my number one album of 2018. Yes, it did. I checked and it was number one, which was amazing. And it still holds up. My God, does it hold up. The biggest complaint I've got about Mol is that don't play live enough over here. You know? Well, you know, I have seen them live, thankfully. There was a bill. It was Ghostbath and Mol on the same bill last year. And fuck me, was I excited. That was amazing. It was at the Boston Music Rooms originally. Then it got moved to the Dome. And then last minute, they changed it from the Dome to a very small venue called the Electro Works in London. Hopefully you were there. Hopefully you're one of the 50 fucking people that bothered to show up for that gig. Because basically, while we never found out an official reason as to why it got moved, going on how small the Electro Works is and how many people were in there, ticket sales was clearly an issue. So Ghostbath and Mol did not appeal to many people, clearly. There was about 50 people in the Electric Works. It's a tiny venue anyway. It would have been embarrassing in either the Boston Music Room and in the Dome. Jesus Christ. It would have been terrible.
We've seen While She Sleeps in there and it was packed, like it was sold out.
Yeah, I've been sold out gigs there many times, and things like that. It would have been embarrassing. So like,
would have been,
Electric Works. But Electric Works just, you know, it's more of a club venue. However, it did mean I got to see Mol and Ghostbath, two great black gaze, shoegaze, atmospheric black metal, whatever you want to call them. Bands together and a chance to see them all live, and it was so fucking good. Oh my God, there's so many great stories from that gig. This is a track by track, so I don't want to go into it, but I will tell you this one brief one, which is because it's so small and all that, and where I was standing, the singer of Mol got so in my face. You heard this story, right? Oh, so he came off the stage, and you've seen him perform live. He's like that microphone, and he's going ape shit. The guy is an intense performer, incredible, and what he does on record, he does live. That's impressive. And so he came down to the floor. And basically everybody cleared a circle, except for me. I didn't realise everyone sort of took a step back, and it was just me and him about, I don't know, less than a foot away from each other. While he's doing that, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I'll just stand here and headbang, you know? Banging band live. But we're not doing that. This is a track by track. So it is JORD. As you can tell, hopefully we got it, enthusiastic as fuck about this album.
You messaging me going like, check this out. It's from Denmark.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything like it. And I was like, wow, it is really good.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of atmospheric post-black metal, shoegaze bands. So this combination of black gaze, as they like to call themselves, black metal, shoegaze, put it together, black gaze. It just massively hit me in the right thing. And the album's quite short, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's 8 tracks. 8 tracks. And we'll get started straight away with Storm. God, Storm. Right, so Storm, oh man. If you want, this is the song, right? If someone comes to me and says, "Oh, play me or give me play me a track from Mol," let's say, this is what I'll put on because of that intro, that down.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just get you so fucking excited? It's echoey and it builds into an eruption. That eruption of drums, guitars, him screaming. I've listened to that song probably hundreds of times. I've just before we hit recording this, I was listening to it again. I'm still getting those hairs in the back of my, even talking about it now. And for a very long time, it was my favourite track in the album. What it was for a very, very long time. Then it wasn't, and then I hear it again, and then it is, and it's constantly that with this album. It won't be no surprise. This is what they opened with live.
Yeah, it makes sense. It is their opening track to
You know?
the album, innit? And
Yeah.
it makes sense with
that
the
intro.
slow start, and it just like erupts into this massive
Yeah.
thing. and
Well, you're going to get to see, come the end of this year, end of 2019, they are
Yeah,
the
we'll
main, not the main support, first band on with Fields of Niflheim and a few other bands. Rivers of Niall, not Fields of Niflheim, Rivers of Niall. There, so we'll be there nice and early to make sure we're there in the crowd for more. But yeah, I love that. I love Storm. Fucking love it.
Great song, yeah.
Next up, Penumbra. You can speak now.
Yeah. So just right, it kind of brings something new to the table, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With that kind of band, like with bands in general. I said it was my personal favourite off the album.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I really do like it. Yeah, it's.
I mean, there's no here. We'll say this now. None of these tracks are going to get any. There's no like, oh, this isn't a. There's no bad tracks here. There's nothing that even drops below the great, as far as I'm concerned. It's still. I gave it 10 out of 10 back then. It's still a 10 out of 10 album. It is another banger. Love the shoegaze elements that appear in this. It's fast. It's heavy. It's utter brutality as well. There's only more can do. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the next one, Brrraains.
Yeah.
As I said, it was. When I first listened to it, it was my favourite on the album because of that slow start, you know, you can imagine it. And then it goes into the big thing that, you know, kind of like Storm.
Yeah.
And it once again, it's like, it's something I've never heard before from a band. And it's the atmospheric kind of vibes you get from it, along with the black metal. And
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of black metal, but they managed to do it in a way that, like, wow, it's really good.
It works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say pretty much the same thing. The morose intro gives away to me to one of the best mold tracks ever across the album, the 2 EPs, 1 and 2, that have been re-released as well. It gets better and better with every listen, I feel. I think like it's one that grows and grows more in you. And the fact that it varies up the tempo, you do get those more melodic moments, mark it out as different as what came before. A little bit of melody that comes at the end as well. That's shit's to die for. Then we get Vacuum. Sometimes my favourite track, sometimes my second favourite track. It's such a fucking banger. And it's probably down to the chorus. Even though they're not really choruses per se, here there's a more obvious verse kind of, you know, the way it speeds up and gets more intense. And it's like you got that part and you got this part and then you got that part. It works so like that. The vocals on fire here.
I just love the how heavy it is.
Yeah.
I really love my like heavy, and it just starts off straight away. And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, that's great. Love it.
It is. And again, it's another banger live, unsurprisingly. Lambda, fucking titles. This is one of the more emotionally draining songs. Like, I wouldn't say, like, obviously with shoegaze and all, you get these kind of emotional lows and highs and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that necessarily applies to Mole all the way, but if there's one, it's this. The start of the track, the melody's enough to make me cry. And that it kind of keeps that same shoegazy post sound that's visible at the start throughout, while kind of just increasing in beat and intensity and so on. Yeah.
Really good song.
Yeah. All right, we get Ligament. The least played track in the album for me, but not for any particular reason. Like when I listened to it, I was like, I'm not as familiar with this as I am the rest of them, but I couldn't really think of a good reason as to why. Because then it bursts with heaviness. It's got touches of extreme metal, almost death metal in places, while of course still having the wonderful atmospherics that makes Mole such a special band. It's actually, I think it might be the longest track on the album. It's certainly up there as one of the longest tracks. Yeah, it's a long one, yeah. But yeah, he's the one with the least played.
I remember the next one, Virgo. I remember the name.
Yeah.
And I remember it being quite heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as you know, I love my heavy stuff, so
Yeah.
like a lot of them ones stand out a lot more for me.
Well, it's interesting to say that. Re-listening to it and giving it another go after a while, it's very, very heavy. You're right. In fact, the guitars and the vocals at the start actually remind me of Gojira a little bit. Like, it's not long before the kind of recognisable mole sound comes through, but at first, the kind of technicality of the guitars and the vocal style that are less high, you know, he's got a high-pitched kind of screech.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I thought kind of Gojira-like. Yeah, Gojira-like.
Yes,
Gojira,
so.
yeah. Then we get Jord. This is the title track. It's a little bit eerie, a little bit haunting, but it's a fantastic way to end what is a top-to-bottom great album, as we said all the way through. Slam of the drums, melodic moments, intense fury combined with perfection. There's nothing new here, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you listen to it, you're not going, oh, okay, this is so different to what came before. It's just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, as a sort of final track. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Basically, 8-track album. It's over so fucking quick, but it's so worth listening through. Give yourself the 40 minutes it takes to get through it. Basically,
Like a 40-minute album. It seems quite short.
I know. I think it's just because it's one of those where time flies when you're having fun. That kind of thing.
I guess you could do that.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
I mean, it's a great album. You gave it 10 out of 10. I would have given it about the same, probably. It was on my top 10 last year just because of the impact it made. Like, it changed a lot of what I think about black metal. Because I'm not really a massive fan of it, but, you know, when something comes along that special, it changes your perception on it and it gives you, like, more to work with, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah, absolutely. It's happened enough to me as well. There you go. There's our track by track of Mole's Jord. Make sure you check it out. Tell us what you think in the comments and hit that like and subscribe button.